But don't get discouraged. Continue to push forward and get that dream orchard that you've always wanted in your backyard. Just do a little bit at a time. Whether it's, hey, I'm gonna do 2 or 3 trees this month or this year or whatever. Just do a little bit at a time. Keep pushing forward and make sure that you have a plan. Dean Family Acres. Alright guys, so we got this order from Cummins, and I think I shot a clip about this before, but they've actually been sitting in the basement, and it has rained and rained and rained and rained. And I need to get some of these in the ground, so I'm going to try and plant 1 or 2 tonight before running to church. I will say that trying to research some of these varieties was kind of interesting, because there are a lot of them. It says just up north, but then if you start looking, there are people who do plant some of this stuff further south. So I think that's an opportunity. And then also they kind of tied some together, so I'll just bring you down here. Hopefully you can see this. So there's only one tag here for Northern Spy, but then they're tied together and they look very similar here. So that kind of, you just have to kind of pay attention to that. Liberty, G11. We've got a Baldwin here, and this is a Baldwin apple. I don't know what this is. Did not see that one before. Let's see if I can see what that is. Something on G16. Maybe it's a mystery. I will say that when I first ordered these, I thought that I would get a pretty wide variety of different things, and I was one of the last ones to order. But I got a lot of similar stuff. So I think there are 3 Liberty. There are a couple on different root stocks. So G890, G11. There's another G11. So again, it is what it is, and we will make do. But roots and everything look strong. We're going to decide what we're going to plant and see if we can't come up with something here. I looked up, and Liberty is a solid apple. And overall, I would say everything looks pretty good. Alright, so we've got them soaking here. Looks like we've got a lot of dwarfing, which is okay. We can make that work. We just got to figure out where we're going to put them and how we're going to line them up. Alright guys, first ones we're going to plant are going to be the Liberty on G890, and then the Baldwin, I do believe. So we will get those and then move forward. The other one on. There is our Liberty G890. And then Baldwin. Baldwin there. So both have good root growth, and we can see where our grafts are as well. Pretty obvious on these. And also looking at our rootstock, we do have some sprouting on rootstock, but one thing you could do, which you don't want to do when you're first planting, is you could let these grow a little bit and then get your own rootstock going. But we'll work on that in another year, not this year. So let's go get these in the ground. Alright guys, you saw us earlier get the holes dug out here, and I brought a scoop of compost and then also some of our pine bark soil conditioner. You do not want to just completely amend the hole if you've got a lot of red clay. I'll show you here in just a little bit exactly what that looks like. You want to amend this lightly. Do not fill your hole for a bare root tree completely full of amendments. Things just won't go well. You'll end up with some root rot and that kind of thing. We're going to amend it lightly and mix back in our native soil because of how heavy clay it is up here, and I know that it needs some nutrients. So we've got the Baldwin and that Liberty. And what we're going to do is actually put these, I think, in the back row back here, and trying to figure out exactly how this is going to work, and thinking through from that perspective. So we'll kind of decide, make sure our holes are good. And one thing to notice, I'll show you here, holding my Mycos as well. Notice this here. This is actually a branch trying to start on the rootstock. So you just want to break that off. You do not want that on there. Same right here. Although this would be above ground, you don't want that rootstock starting to grow. All right. And that was on the Baldwin with the G210 rootstock. Woo. Not too much. Those who have been on the channel before know that if I remember, I try and use some Mycos mycorrhiza on any of my roots when I'm planting any kind of bare root plant. So we're gonna get you a little closer. Again, I'll sprinkle a little of this on there, and hopefully we can get this planted. I'll talk about soil depth. All right, so you can see this here. You do not want these roots spiraling, so I would encourage you to cut them or break them off. You want them to fit down in that hole. You also want to think about the level of this soil. You got a stick here, the soil is going to be right there. That is absolutely perfect. You can see where that top root is. So our height is perfect. I just need to move some of the soil around just a little bit so that I can lay those roots down a little bit flatter. You also want to think towards where north is and where your scion is going to be. This is actually absolutely perfect. You want to make sure you water this in well. Again, that top root goes right there. All right, guys, that was our Baldwin on the G210. We got that one put here in the middle of the 3 apples that we're going to have on this back row. If you remember when we planted our pear over here on this next row, if you saw that video, if you didn't, I'd encourage you to check it out here. But what we're going to do is these trees behind us, we're going to clear those out at least 10 to 15, maybe 20 feet back, just to be able to open this up. But for now, it's okay. And honestly, it'll provide a little bit of shade initially during this hot first summer. But definitely want to water these in. And like I said, I'm going to put some pine bark soil conditioner just over the top as a type of mulch. But I'm also going to use a little bit of oat hay that we got. Any kind of hay that you get, make sure it has not been sprayed with something. Those herbicides can completely kill back your plants and give you all kinds of damage. The guy I got this stuff from, he sells hay, and he's a market gardener. So when I told him what I was using it for in regards to putting, you know, trying to mulch around some things and then also using it for my chicken run, he was like, that'll be absolutely perfect. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so that's Baldwin. Let's move on to this Liberty. Got some of that growth on this G890 as well. Just gonna break that off. No need for any kind of growth like that. All right, let's get it in the ground. All right, be sure and pay attention to your root height again. Right here is where we are, be just right. And we're just gonna put that in there. Again, got my Mycos on those bare roots. I'm gonna water this in really, really well. Kind of shaking it just a little bit, making sure that you've got your roots down in the soil, not all kinked up. Again, also think about your direction. Got that Liberty on the G890N, and we're gonna water this later on this evening. It's all in the shade right now, and we've got somewhere to run, so we'll come back out here this evening, water these both in really, really well. Guys, you've seen us plant these new trees in our fruit forest, upper orchard area, and I just want to encourage you, don't get discouraged when something happens, or if you see, as I saw my black beauty plum walking down here, you know, if there's some bug damage or something like that, don't get distressed. There's no need to just go jumping on chemicals and spraying your whole yard, that kind of thing. I've seen that way too much on multiple different groups, and it's just frustrating. I won't say that you can do this fully organic. I mean, you can, but you're definitely going to have some issues. But I will say, for a lot of your stone fruit, that's your peaches, your plums, nectarines, etc. If you can keep the squirrels off of them, honestly, that's going to be your biggest nemesis. There are some organic fruit tree sprays that I would strongly encourage you to do. But I will also say that we've done that some, and there have been other years that we didn't, and we didn't have a whole lot of damage. But I think some of that is also just having chickens going around. They don't come up here to the upper yard a whole lot, but that is something that certainly can impact, and make sure that you're getting rid of some of that pest, especially from a bug or insect pressure concern. But don't get discouraged. Continue to push forward and get that dream orchard that you've always wanted in your backyard. Just do a little bit at a time. Whether it's, hey, I'm going to do 2 or 3 trees this month or this year or whatever. Just do a little bit at a time. Keep pushing forward and make sure that you have a plan for moving forward. If you're on a tight budget, that's fine. Learn to graft and learn to be patient in growing out some of your own things. Those are some of the keys that I would encourage you to have. But most importantly, you know, just always be open to learning, gaining knowledge, and making sure that you are just growing in different ways more than just growing things in your yard. Thanks so much for watching this far along. Hopefully you've learned something new today. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, I would encourage you to do that. Whenever you do subscribe, if you don't click that little bell down there, we always like to say you need to click that bell like. That's right, Mike Tyson did in the 1980s. But if you hit that little bell down there, then it should notify you, if you click all, of every video that we put out. We certainly appreciate each and every one of y'all, and hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. We'll see you next week.